Hello there and welcome to my walkthrough of the form generator. Just a little bit of background. I'm a first cook in a large workers accommodation facility. We serve about 1,200 people, 2 meals a day plus lunches, and there's a lot of paperwork that goes along with this. Now this whole project started off just to save myself some time. This sheet, for example, was a production form, and I fill this out every day. It's what I'm going to make, who I'm going to assign it to, and we record how much product we use. Now every day I'd have to sit down and write all this stuff out. So I said, I'm sure I can make Excel do this. And that's what I did. So if you look over here, this is our dinner menu. It's a 12-week rotating menu. I've got dinner, I've got breakfast, the salads and fast food. Those are the ones that apply to this form generator, so that's why they're in there. And so basically what happens is, depending on what day is in this box, it VLOOKUPs and finds the appropriate items to fill it in. And I would just print that off every day. So then I started adding buttons so I can increase and decrease the date, and it automatically updates it. It fills in some information up here, and then I added in this special dietary requirement section. We have various people in house who have special diets, and they're on a different rotations. So I put their days on, days off, their start day, and as we go through, it changes them, whether they're here or not, and it makes some notes down at the bottom, records it on this sheet, which just this part will be printed off every day, and then I can make sure that these people are taken care of. I also have a sandwich salad production form. This form has a bunch of pars set for how much we're producing each day, and this increases and decreases the pars automatically based on the number of people in house, which are pulled down in these reports, and I'll show you those in a minute. I can set the pars in here, and they're per 100 people, and it just multiplies how many people are in camp. There's another little adjustment it makes. We have a big changeover day, so when everybody's coming in and out of camp, it accounts for that. And you can see Mondays are a big day for us, so we increase our sandwiches by a little bit for that day. I also have a tablet mode, which just kind of changes things over. So you can actually use this on a tablet. It'll help you do the math, and then it'll, as you fill it out, it'll actually print off a summary of your bread pulls and how much you need to produce for that day, just to help you get things done a little bit faster. We also do micro meals, just little to-go meals, and this just does a little bit of quick math based on the number of people in house, and it helps them produce the right amount. So far these things have actually been very accurate. We've gone from about 300 or 400 people in house to about 1,100 with only minor adjustments. Instead of going and manually changing all this every day, every week, depending on how many people in our house, it's automatically pulled and adjusted. What's next here? Tasting menu. Much like the dinner menu, this is just another form I have to fill out every day that I like to have done for me, because why would I want to spend my time writing in these things when I can just automate it? The next part is these screens. They're not fully showing. These are for generating some menus. What we used to have to do was individually go into Microsoft Word and type in the whole menu and save it with a pretty background and save it and name it and put it in a folder, and then every day manually go to the TV, use the remote and change the menu to the next day, and that is just a whole bunch of work. So what this actually does is it goes automatically every single day. You can set how many days you want in here. This is a 12-week menu, so usually I do 84. And I can hit create dinner folders, and it'll create a bunch of properly named folders in the computer based on this. And then it's all set up. I hit screenshot, and it starts at the first day. It opens a chart, like a graph, like a chart element in Excel, clears everything from it, copies this, pastes it into the chart, applies a background, which is saved on the computer as a JPEG, and then screenshots all of that and saves it appropriately named in this folder. and it does that 84 times. It saves probably 10 or 20 hours of work by clicking a single button, which we have to do every 12 weeks. So there's one for the TV dinner menu and the TV breakfast menu. Dinner labels. This is kind of has become the meat and potatoes of the program. So every day I start my shift, and there's some salads here that the salad makers have left me a list of allergens for. So I just click this and I go find item, and it finds the item in this big database of, I think I'm over what looks like 1200, 1300. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's got the allergens and it's got prep items over here, and I just fill in the allergens, and it's going to, I do the same thing for all of these items. If it's something that we don't have, it lets me know, and I can press a button to insert it, or whatever I want to do. I can hit insert missing items, and it'll insert everything that might be there. And then it copies them over here to this sheet, which this will be printed off onto perforated paper that we can just put up online, and so the guests can see the portions and the allergens for whatever they're eating. If it's orange, it means I haven't put it into the database. So I'm going to delete that, and it'll go away. Okay. So these, as you can see, as you're going through the day, the font is the wrong size. I have a little thing that I can hit, and it'll automatically read how long the text is and assign an appropriate font size for all of that. And throughout the entire sheet, this entire program, I guess, you can hit print labels, and that'll print it appropriately to perforated paper like this, or in the case of the dinner, just non-perforated normal paper. If I hit print 5 days counting up, it'll print 5 days on proper paper. Anyways, back to the allergen info. I think that's pretty much all. I can hit print all the things, and all this stuff is automatically copied into these various signs that I put around the kitchen to just kind of inform the guests of what we have. If I have a something unusual, and it's like a special day, I can type something in here. It'll put it on there. Again, it's showing me, hey, you don't have the allergens, so I can go back and put them in. And it's also telling me for the next day, if I forget, alternate signs detected, and I can go back and delete those. If you're wondering why I'm not showing some of these things, it's because this was written for a 32-bit system at work, and this is my own laptop, and it doesn't. Not everything runs properly on the 64. So this is one more thing I've got here. This is a different database. So this database just doesn't include the calories and the portions. It's just the item and the allergen, and you can go through however many things I've got in here, and you can just type in, you can clear all. Looks like that worked, and I'll go, I want 3 of these labels, 2 of these labels, and 4 of these labels. Let's see if this works on my computer. It's a print sheet, and it's doing some stuff. This one takes a minute. Oh, there it goes. Not sure why that took so long. But anyway, so those labels are right there, ready for me to hit the button and print them. What else have I got here? This is the guest report. This has been absolutely life-saving sometimes. It was intended to be printed off every day, but right now I don't. I just use it kind of for a quick guide throughout service. This is a forecast. So over here in this tab, every day when you first open the generator, it'll automatically update and pull in all the daily numbers that were saved the day before from card swipes, so I can know exactly how many people scanned that day, what time they scanned for dinner, and I can use that information to figure out how many people I think are going to come today based on our current occupancy, and I can even figure out when they're going to come. So this is all breakfast, and scrolling down, this is all dinner, and this is about, I don't know, 3/4 of a year of data in here. And basically I just use that to come up with this graph. So as you can increase or decrease the date, you can see how service is predicted to flow. So from the start of service at 4:30 p.m. to the end of service at 9 p.m., this is about how busy we're going to be, and this is how many people per 5-minute increments. We've always got a 7 o'clock rush. There's always a starting rush, and it slows down near the end. Different days are different busyness. Wednesday is steak night. That's a busy one. All the boys show up there. Monday's Monday's different. It's a travel day. Flights come in early, and people just kind of hit us all at once, and then it slows down for the rest of the night. That's normal. One final thing I can use down here. This is a little usage checker. For example, this day I had 38 trays of salmon, for example, and it's around maybe 7:15, and I'm like, oh man, how much am I gonna make it? Do I need to cook more? Well, I made 38. I've got 10 left. I put those in, and it says if it's currently before this time, you might run out. Well, it's 7:15, so I think I'm okay. But if I only had 4 left, oh man, I've got some problems. It's only 7:15, and this is actually pretty accurate. I'd say probably plus or minus 5 to 8%. So yeah, that's the guest report. We call this the crystal ball, and it's earned its name from what I can say. What else have I got here? This is the prep list, and I'm going to show you guys another project in another video called Johan 2.0. Long story short, I had another first cook, my cross shift, and he was very good at writing our prep board. That's what all this stuff is from. These are prep items for that day. And he got laid off, and I didn't like writing the prep board, so I'm building a robot to write the board for me. And this will automatically pull the data from these prep items over here for each day, and it will fill it in to these boxes based on, well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it fills in all the prep items. And from there, I'll be able to copy this to my robot, and it is going to draw it all out. More on that later. Anyway, all of this is fine and dandy for about, 12 weeks until we have a new menu iteration. And when we want to update our menu, this is, it was actually quite a bit of work, but I've pretty much automated the entire process using this little new menu setup flow, I've called it here. So you start with the new menu setup helper. You put in the start date, the number of weeks, menu number here. 11 will be next. The menu length in weeks is usually 12. Then the fast food menu is only 5 weeks. Anyway, then you hit that, and it just changes a bunch of numbers throughout the program to make things run. Select menu import. You can click this. It'll open up a. It should even. Yeah, it'll work on my computer too. So it opens up a thing. You can select the new menu, and it'll just import it and copy all of the menu items into the new locations. So everything is copied perfectly. What else is in here? Then theme menu import. So we also do some special theme menus which are saved in a different format and are not included in this regular menu. And this just imports all the theme menus. So next you hit screenshot weeks, and this just goes and automatically runs these programs like I was talking about to automatically screenshot 84 days of both the breakfast and the dinner menu, and it just runs through those automatically and saves them all for you, saves you a few steps. Oh, I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's this one here, the TV menus. Screenshot weeks is something I have not talked about yet. We also have to display another menu, which is just this menu the entire week, and it just puts up the dinner menu and the breakfast menu side by side, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. And that's kind of a pain to do because, I mean, how are you going to screenshot this while keeping it, a nice resolution? So it does that with software, and it comes out very nicely, and it just screenshots. I think it just does week 1 through 12 just to do them all, and saves them into the weekly screenshot location folder. Next is copy theme menu photos to TV menu folder. So all of those TV menus I talked about, the theme menus have their own special photos, and this just copies them to the right day, which saves some time because you have to figure out what day of the week it is, and the naming isn't isn't the easiest to read. It's just Friday 5, Saturday, 6 or whatever. So it helps you there. And changed item highlights. This is a newer feature. You take the new menu and you take the old menu. You take the new one, cancel, and you take the old one, and it gives you a copy of the new menu. And it's been all completely whited out. None of this is colored, it's all white, except new items that have been changed are now red. So you can hand this out to your different staff and be like, hey, these red items are new. If you have any questions on them, let me know. Make sure you put these out because we have severe contract requirements, and it just helps people do their jobs a little bit better. And I think that's it for that menu setup. Print breakfast, actually, that's not anything right now. It's just testing. Crazy buttons. This is a fun one. So all of these buttons throughout the program, there's this bug in Excel, which for some reason, sometimes you get to a point where when you're opening Excel, your buttons are shifted or shrunk or just warped. And it got to a point where like increase date would be this big and then this big and this big. And then it's this tiny little box and you can't even click it. Well, what this does is you can select any box, press Control E, and it saves its information. It saves its information in a hidden tab. Let's see if I can find it here. Unhide. Oh, hidden. Look, there it is. So these are all of the buttons that have had problems, and it saves the top location, its left location, and then a height and a width. And every time the form generator opens up, it actually automatically resizes all of those buttons, and it works so well that I literally forgot it was even a thing. So that's what that is. That's what Crazy Buttons is. And if you have problems in Excel with that, that's what's going on. And this may be the last section. All of this just there's so many variables and different things in this whole program that it was starting to get a little messy, so I decided to make a settings page, just like most programs have. And these are the values, and it just kind of gives you a little bit of information, who it's controlled by. So user, I'm gonna type that in. Defined name. If this is a named cell, so menu start date, that just tells you what it is, and that's so it's easy to reference if you're writing a new code. These are some notes on it, like this is the first day of your new menu. This is set automatically. This is some formatting information. So that's just different kind of stuff. These are a fun one. So the printers, the printers in my workplace seem to bounce around various networks, and this allows you to set you basically what you'll do is you go File, Print. I don't have a printer right now because I'm on my laptop. Select a printer, and then if you hit that button, it'll automatically update the network address of that printer here. And then every time the form generator opens up, it will set that printer properly. And not only that, actually, it will also, if the network changed, it will actually search for the name of your printer on all of the other networks. So it'll go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until it finds it. And when it finds it, it sets it there properly. So that is what you see. That's what you work with. I'll show you a bit of the code now. Actually, just one more thing. Not all of my coworkers are as tech savvy as me, so I've made sure to go through and make a whole bunch of little notes. So if I'm at home, they can figure things out, and it just helps them use the program. Okay, so this is some of the code behind everything. Let's go to this workbook. So this is the one that runs when you first open it up. It sets up a bunch of variables here. It calls the button resizing, like I was talking about, button resize. It does some just visual formatting stuff, turning off some grid lines. It sets up the printers, like I discussed. There's set up plain printer, set up label printer, and on error go to fixed label. That's if the network doesn't exist, and go keep trying basically. What else is here? Auto update. Oh, I think don't know if I talked about that. So basically, it can auto update all of this information. It opens up all of these reports are saved by front desk into a certain folder on the network drive, and it opens them up and does a bunch of math and then copies exactly what I need to these places and then closes them all out. And it actually, even if front desk forgot to save the report, it opens up a Microsoft Word file, types out a nice little email, which I can just copy and paste with exactly what I want to be done and saved for me. So yeah, that is, oh, it displays a nice little welcome message too. So that's when you first fire it up, that's what happens, and this is the meat and potatoes of the code. There is quite a bit going on here. I'm not going to go through all of it, but as you can see, print labels, copy compounds, printing current sheets. I don't even, some of the stuff is so old, I don't even remember what it does. Sandwich salad, print required. It's just printing that stuff. There's the screenshot one. So that's just screenshotting a single one. And then there's somewhere, yeah, this is screenshot multiple. So screenshot multiple just basically runs this a whole bunch of times with different variables. A screenshot full week, that's the big one I talked about, weeks 1 to 12. There's all sorts of stuff in here. So yeah, this is all self-taught. I started learning about 2 years ago, and it has been one of the coolest things I have ever learned. It's also led me to learn to program Arduino, which is based off C++, I believe, in some Java, and I'm getting into computer automation. And that is that. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this little walkthrough guide on the form generator. And yeah, appreciate your time. Have a great day.